Well, hey there guys, and welcome back. On this week's show, we're making a pizza peel. Well, who doesn't love homemade pizza? And pizza done on a pizza stone is some of the best pizza that you will have. However, in order to get it on and off the stone, you need a pizza peel. And that's what we're going to work on today. Now, it does take a bit of preparation to do, as I work in all rough cut lumber. And that's where we're going to start. We're going to start with choosing our stock. Well, for this project, I have chosen my favorite combination, which is walnut and maple. And I have some 8/4 inch rough cut lumber here. And the first thing we're going to do is get it over to the jointer planer, flatten out the one side. We're going to head over to the bandsaw, resaw this lumber, and then we're going to mill it to a thickness of 5/8 of an inch. I've milled my stock down to its, well, final width, we'll call it. The lengths are going to change, the thickness is going to change a little, but right now it's 5/8 of an inch thick across the board. No pun intended. The center board, which in this case for me is walnut, I have made this to be 24 inches long, and this is going to incorporate the handle when we're done. These pieces here are actually a little longer than what I need. They're 18 inches long, but the total work surface of the whole pizza peel by the end of it is only going to be 14 inches long. And I have cut these pieces. The walnut in the middle is 5 inches wide, and each one of these maple sections is 4 inches wide to give us a total width of 13 inches. That is on purpose. That is because my thickness planer maximum width to run through that machine is 13 inches, hence 13 across. So guys, we now need to laminate the maple and the walnut together in this configuration like I have it here. I have jointed all of the edges to make sure that I get a nice flush mount all the way along. I don't think we need a video of the glue up. I'm going to be using dowel joinery. I'm going to be marking where the dowels are going to be going, and that is just to help me with alignment, nothing more. It can be a little structural, but it's not that big of a deal. Glue joints are extremely strong. Now, speaking of glue, what we're going to do for this is we're going to use Titebond 3. Why Titebond 3? Because it's waterproof. It is the same glue that I use on cutting boards, and I only use it because A, its strength, and B, its waterproof properties. So you can wash it. You'll be able to wash this board when we're done. So let's get these laminated together, and after they are glued and clamped, I'll show you what you're going to be looking at. Now guys, one of the great properties of Titebond 3 is also the fact that you have a longer working time. So if your glue up is going a little sideways, you have time to mess with it before it sets. So these are really well lined up, and that is due to the help that the dowel joinery gives it. What I'm going to do now, guys, is I'm going to let this set up. In fact, I'm going to let it dry overnight. In about a half an hour, 30 minutes kind of thing. Because of the longer working time with Titebond, I'm just going to go along here with a scraper and I'll take off the majority of the excess glue. And like I said, let it dry overnight, and I'll see you in the morning. So it's the next day and this is completely dry, and it's time to take it down to its final thickness. So guys, we're going to take this over to the thickness planer, and we are going to bring it down to a total thickness of 1/2 inch. Here's what I would suggest though. We used 1/4 inch diameter dowels in 4 places here to help with alignment and as well to give it a little extra strength. I would not plane all from one side. We have 5/8. You take it down 1/2 inch. You're encroaching in on those dowels now. So I would run 1 or 2 passes on one side, then flip the board over and run another couple passes on the other side. Keep going like that until you get your final dimension of 1/2 inch thick. And there we go, down to 1/2 inch, looking good. Guys, the very first step that we want to do here before we start doing our layout is we need to square off the end of the board here. The walnut is just a little tiny bit proud, not much, probably about a 1/64 of an inch. So I'm going to take this over to the table saw. We're going to cross cut it with a fine cross cutting blade, and we're going to just trim this ever so slightly just to level out the one end. Well, now it's time to do a little bit of layout on our pizza peel. And we're going to start at the base here. This is the handle, this is the end. And from the end up, we're going to place a mark all the way across at 14 inches. Now that is the length of our pizza peel. Now at the end, the same end that we marked from to get the 14 inches, we are going to place a mark 3 inches up. Now while we're at it, we're also going to place a center mark in the center body section here. I'll show you what that's for in just a little bit. So we're 13 inches across. We just want to place a mark at 6.5. And now from each edge, if we come in 5 11/16 of an inch and place a mark just in our top walnut section here, that is going to give us the distance of our, or the width of our handle, which is going to end up being 1 5/8 of an inch. And then we can extend those lines all the way to the end of that walnut board. And now that we have those extended, we'll just verify that we have both 1 5/8 down here and as well 1 5/8 at this end. Yeah, and we are right on there, so we're good. All right, so that is the handle. Well, we came in here at 5 11/16. Well, now we're going to come in at 3 11/16 from the edge, from both edges. And as well, we came 14 inches up to the top of our line. We're going to place a mark here at 16 inches up. And guys, this will be our center point to draw a 2-inch radius for the transition between our handle and our body. And we can set our compass at that radius and just draw that transition in place. Well guys, I have set my beam compass to a radius of 8 7/16, and we're just going to place it in the center mark here, line up with the end of our board, and remember that line we drew there at 3 inches, well that is the radius of the end of our pizza peel at 8 7/16. So we're just going to draw that radius on there with this beam compass. And there we go. There is the end of our pizza peel with its shape done. So the last thing that we need to do here, guys, or the last couple things, we're going to round off this one corner here, probably with a 2-inch radius, just something smooth. And as well, we're going to round off the end of the handle. Once we get that done, well, we're going to cut the whole thing out. And I think we're going to do this over at the bandsaw. Well, I've installed a 1/4 inch, 1/16 per inch blade into my bandsaw, set my guide bearings, set my thrust bearings, and we're ready to go. So we're just going to cut around the perimeter of the lines that we've marked on our pizza peel, but we're going to cut slightly outside the lines because we want to sand afterwards with a belt or an oscillating drum in order to creep up on those lines and get ourselves an absolute perfect cut. And now using various sanders, the belt sander, the oscillating drum, we're going to do the final perimeter sanding in order to get the final shape on our pizza peel. Well, now comes kind of the tricky part, guys, and that is we need to taper all the way around the edges here on both sides. So what I've done is I've drawn a line 1 inch in on both of our edges and around this front perimeter. I've drawn that on both sides, and as well on the edges I've drawn a line 7/32 of an inch in from the edge, leaving in the middle here between the two lines, because I've drawn it from both sides, that will leave a 1/16 of an inch line on the edges all the way around. Now we need to taper this all the way around on all sides. And guys, I've tried several methods, I've tested it. I considered the table saw and I just didn't feel good about it. I considered the router table. I even did some test cuts and it really didn't give me the results that I want. So I've said it here 1,000,001 times on the show. If something doesn't feel good in your shop, you just don't do it. Trust your instincts, and I'm trusting mine, and I'm not doing it with power tools. So what I'm going to do, although it's going to be time consuming, I think it's going to give me both the results I want and it's going to keep all of my digits attached to my hands. I'm going to get a block plane and I'm going to adjust it at just a little bit of a skim, and I'm going to start on the edges here. I'm going to plane these down until I get the proper profile that I want. Then I'm going to turn my attention to the end here of our pizza peel. And once I get all of that shaped, I will show you what the results of that ended up to be. Well, truth be told, that block plane was driving me absolutely crazy. It's just not fast enough. It's too hard on my hands. So I switched it up to one of my larger planes, and we'll get this done, get her shaped, and we'll see how it goes from there. Now guys, if you're done the sides and you've got them tapered, the ends here going cross grain with your block plane, this is where the block plane really excels. So you may want to switch your planes at this point. And it really won't take you long to get that front nose of the pizza peel shaped. Well, at this point, I'm pretty happy with the shape of it. That hand planing did a really great job. I think I made the right choice there. But what I've done as well here, right in the end, centered about 1.5 inches down from the top, I have drilled a 3/8 diameter hole and countersunk on both sides. That is for mounting it or hanging it on the wall. So at this point, all that's really left to do is we're going to give this a really good sanding all over. These sharp edges here, these sharp, crisp corners, we're going to break those corners so that the handle is a little easier on the hands to use. I might even go so far as to put a round over there. I just don't want to have a weird transition here between the round over and our tapered sides. So we're going to get those sharp edges broken, sand the whole thing all over, and then when you get that done, you can come back and see me. And there you have it, a pizza peel. Guys, I have to admit, when this project was first brought to me and I was asked, hey, can you make one of these for me? I thought, this is great. This is a great show idea, a quick, easy project. We'll bang it off in a few hours, get the filming done, put it out for you guys. Everybody can enjoy it, win-win. But I never expected it to be as much work as what it really was. 2 days, 2 days. The first day, the first, I think, 5 hours was milling the stock and then getting it laminated and cleaning up the glue joints and that sort of thing. And then the second day, all the work of shaping it, cutting it, sanding it, planing those edges, those tapers, just a heck of a lot of work. But I have to admit, I had an absolute blast with it. I really did. Once I figured out the method that I wanted to use and got it down to a system with the larger plane taking off the majority of the work, end grain work or against the grain work with the block plane, it really came together. But that planing, I'm going to tell you, that's quite a workout. I don't do a lot of handwork. I don't do a lot of plane work. And it shows because I was sweating to death. It was just a crazy workout for me, but I enjoyed it. It was a lot of fun. There's nothing quite like the sound of a plane as it goes whoosh across that board and peels off that perfect little ribbon of stock. There's that certain feeling and that certain sound of a plane that is indescribable, and it is not replaceable by anything. It's quite the feeling. I love that sound. So it was a lot of fun to get the hand plane work done. The only thing that's left to do with this project now, guys, is we are going to give it a good coating of cutting board coating, and that is just a mixture of mineral oil and paraffin wax. Now, if you're not sure how to make that, I'll post a link down below to that show of where I teach you guys how to make that coating. It's an older show, it's a little goofy show, but it's fun and it's informative. It'll show you how to make the cutting board coating for your future projects, and it's a very food safe coating. If you don't have paraffin wax or you don't want to make the coating, you can simply coat this thing in straight up mineral oil and it'll be just fine. It's just not as durable as the wax mixture coating. Either way, guys, this has been a great project, and if you have a pizza stone at home or you're thinking about getting one and you want a pizza peel, don't pay those retailers like the $20, $30 that they're asking you. Make one for yourself, because for the stock that I used in this, I probably did it for less than half the price. And it's way better looking, way higher quality. It's hardwood, not some cheap stuff that they threw together. And it's just beautiful. Guys, give this one a try. Guys, I want to thank you so much for tuning in this week. I hope you've enjoyed the show. I was asked to do this quite some time ago, and it's one of those things where I wasn't really in the mood to mill the stock and laminate it. I knew it was going to be a big process. I just didn't think it was going to be a big project. I guess joke's on me, because it was a big process and a lot of work to do this project, but 100% worth it. If you haven't already, please consider liking and subscribing to the channel. You click the bell and then you're not going to miss the future notifications of the program. Guys, I hope you've enjoyed today's content. I hope you're going to give this a try for yourself and make yourself a pizza peel. I hope you've learned something today with this show, and more importantly, I hope you're going to join me again next week when I bring you yet another woodworking video.